there's a reason I'm in my uniform, and there's a reason I'm in my basement. So you see, I've got my official Chiefs uniform on, but behind me is Captain America's shield, an Iron Man statue, and all this nerdy stuff, right? The point is, something can be two things at the same time, right? So I'm a professional police chief, but I'm also a geek right behind me, right? So things can be two things at once. And what we're seeing right now is the profession or the job of policing is two things at once right now. You've got what I think is the majority of the officers doing the right thing and doing it the right way. And you also, at the same time, have officers that are not doing it the right way and are not treating people equally and are not using appropriate force against people. Because there's rules and regulations, and there's very strict guidelines on how we're supposed to interact with people and how we're supposed to use force. And remember that two things at once. Mm-hmm. We've got the majority of officers that are using it correctly, but you have some officers that are not. And that's where you see with Mr. Floyd, his tragic death, and you see other things happening with high-profile incidents where police are not doing what they're supposed to be doing and are not treating people the way they're supposed to be treating them. So what we have to do is we have to kind of work and get rid of the ones that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing and the ones that are making all police officers look bad. Because not all police officers, we know this from, your friends in the torch room, that they're the most caring and loving individuals around, and they love you guys and they're friends with you, and they're what policing is supposed to be. And so we have to work to make sure that we take care of the ones that are doing it right and make sure that they continue to do it right and nurture and help them and get rid of the ones that are not doing it right and making sure that we hold them accountable and make them make sure that they are punished for doing the wrong things. And Anu, I will say, I've seen you out there with the protests. I totally respect your drive. I respect your beliefs, and I respect you standing up for what you believe in, because I believe in those things too. I believe in equality. I believe in racial justice. I believe that my profession, the profession of policing, has not always been what it should be. And I think it's up to us to work together to move forward and make it the best that it can be. That's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be quick. But I think if we talk to each other and we listen to each other, we can make that happen. And what I want to do tonight is listen to you guys. I don't want to sit there and just talk to you. I want you to talk to me. I want you to talk to me how you're feeling, not just as an athlete, but as an athlete of color. What you see, if you've been, if you've had, something that's been prejudicial, and you've had someone that didn't treat you correctly because of the color of your skin, this is the time. This is the safe spot for us to talk about it. Don't worry about hurting anybody's feelings. Don't worry about the way it sounds when it comes out. Let's just talk.
Do you guys, are you having a hard time kind of figure out who's good and who's bad? And I think, Chief Nesky, you said this already, because you see them at these games and they're so kind to you. They treat you with respect. They enjoy spending time with you. And then you see this going on. So is anyone having a hard time kind of figuring out why or what's going on or why this could be happening? And if you don't, no big deal. I just wanted to pose that question.
And don't be embarrassed if you do, because this is an open floor, open discussion. Nobody's judging. It's a judgment-free zone.
I mean, for me, how can I put it like this? I would just say that every time when I'm in a tournament or even games, I just respect everybody, show everybody love and things of that nature, But however, ever since the whole incident, with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and what was his name? Ahmaud Arbery, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, how I felt about my friends, especially my non-racist white friends, it never changed for them because 9 times out of 10, I know they feel very discouraged and very anger about how we feel, you know? Because when Officer John, when you mentioned early how Black Lives Matter, it's not a it's not really a anti thing from white people. It's just about the police, not all of them, but just some, like how George Floyd's killer and all that. And for over 400 years or 500, even before our time, us black people, ever since we've been called slaves and all that, we've been victim to things like this. And when I know when you go outside, when everybody go outside, or even look on the news, you see riots, you know, like buildings being burned down, stores being robbed, walls being graffiti. That was all because we were very bitter, very angry of this that scene.
Yeah, Cody, you're absolutely right. And that's an anger that I cannot understand. I will never understand that kind of anger because it didn't happen directly to me. I can empathize and I can understand it, but I can't live it. I can't have it in my heart the way that people of color have, because I don't have that history that weighs me down and that has followed me generation to generation. So the best I can do is try to empathize and understand and support. And that's, you know, that's what we're here to do. And that's what you're seeing now, especially why you're seeing this go so much farther than other attempts at police reform, is because a lot of people are I hate to use the word woke, but a lot of people are just beginning to go, holy crap, this stuff really is real. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think that I was that much more advantaged than everybody else. But it's absolutely true.
Right. And I was just telling my grandmother a few minutes ago when I just said Black Lives Matter. It's not about the anti against the, not just against the I'm gonna just say Caucasian, not just white, and not just Caucasian people, and also it's about the police of how they see us, you know. It's like we could just be walking down the even kids too. They could just be walking down the street from going to a store or a park or playground, whatever, and all of a sudden they're being pulled over by the police just because of the color of their skin, or because of the police, that man or woman has nothing better to do.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? Sometimes it's not the police. Sometimes it's people that call the police because they see a black person doing something.
Why?
Again, that is that systemic racism that people talk about. Do you remember the story about the guy who was bird watching in New York? And he told the lady
called on him because he was sitting there watching her, and then she made up this whole story about how he harassed her dog, he harassed her, and all this other stuff. Yeah.
He had the nerve to ask her to put her dog on the leash like she was supposed to, and she automatically turned it into a racial thing, calling the police on him. And you see that across the nation. So even if it's something that we don't consciously go, hey, there's some black guys walking the playground, I better stop them, you get calls, and then we have to go to a call, but it still puts us in a bad position and puts us talking to people of color for the wrong reasons.
And this is why we need to continue to have the conversation. So, you know, and Cody, kudos to you for sharing. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job, Cody.
Yeah. No one else has to feel compelled to. I just wanted to give you the chance to, if you want to take it.
And that's why I went behind you. So it's a judgment-free zone. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It was like.
Thank you.
And that's just it. The only way to deal with things and to process emotions and what we're feeling is to talk about it, right? That's the only way we get it out of our hearts is to talk about it and share it. There may be no answer. You know, you ever hear about how mansplaining and how guys like to fix things? You know, like a girl may say, I have this problem, and the guy automatically tries to fix it. Well, some things you don't fix. Some things we just talk about it. We kick it around. We share views and we share emotions, but there's no answer for it. It's just venting and getting our feelings out.
Right. Because 9 times out of 10, you can't save. Basically, you can't even save everyone that don't even want to be saved. All you could do is just support them or try to encourage on what they're going through, and at the same time pray for them. You know.
Exactly. And you know, there's a saying that you can't control what other people do. You can only control how you react. And that means supporting people, praying for them, and things like that.
We're going to continue these conversations. So she's going to read it. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you for your honesty. I want you to continue these conversations. So look for more from Jason. But Monique, hit it.
Okay, Jason, you can pull it up on PowerPoint so everybody can read along. I'll be comfortable with that if you want to pull it up. But I actually did a poetry slam for the first time, and it's hosted by lovely Jason Schmutz. And he was basically saying to me, or to us, make it 15 minutes long, and he didn't give me a topic. So what I did was I wrote how I felt about this right here, okay? So if you guys want to follow along, you can. It's right there on the PowerPoint. And I actually am one of the top 3 winners with this poem. So nice. It's called Get It in Check. So it starts off like this. Police brutality has to stop because we can't tell good cop from bad cop with the nonchalant for the human life with 2 or 3 gunshots. The police violence has to stop. How many more lives have to be lost for the cause? Because behind the badge, they are supposed to serve and protect. Haven't seen any of that yet. Some cops should not have a badge because of the damage they cause. So let me give you a round of applause. Because you pulled the wool over everyone's eyes because of the lies. Communities do not trust the red, white, and blue. So screw you. Because when you get caught, the people around you will not tolerate the disrespect. So you need to get it in check.
Very nice.
Great poem, Monique.
Monique, that's real inspiration.
And these were just to the bad cops, not to the good cops.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah. That's why I put it. You can't tell good cop from bad cop. That's why I put that line in there, because
I got you,
I didn't put that line in there, y'all would go, oh, okay.
I got you, Monique. I'm on board with you.
Okay. So yeah, so that was my poem. Jason just gave me an outlet for what I love to do. I just saw it on TV and I put it to pen and paper. And I actually read this in front of my other peers. And I believe, Jason, I got 61% of the vote. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Yeah. Almost everybody voted for me off of that poem. So
you
and
deserve.
I actually got inspired from these conversations and what I've been seeing on TV. So I said, how can I do this positively? Jason had a poetry slam. I'm like, okay. I wrote it down, but I couldn't think of a title for it because when I write stuff down, I never have a title for it. So the last line in it is get it in check. So I just wrote it down. And that's actually I actually won. So yeah, so because of these talks, I actually got inspired to write about it in a poem, about 15 minutes long.
Congratulations, nice job.
All right.